Hello, Americans and people of Connecticut. There are people named DeMorrow, people where DeMorrow's market is now and where they used to be. The difference of guilt there or the intelligence with conjunctions to that place. And they used to be next to Harvard Hospital. Other businesses and houses next to them have been people I didn't even have classes with. They've been with people I caught involved with a child abuser, leader of kids with their extended family members, their roles with intelligence and as intelligence families, have roles faking transcripts with judges and prosecutors through time. They fake transcripts with WFSB, fake conversations with me. They have roles with recorded uses of all natures of investigations. Investigators in their campuses used remotely criminally foreign influence, reliant upon things going like wars and things going on, so they could have serious things that they can pretend that's why they're ignoring and changing what other people say about other things. They're not following mandated law. Even if he's not related to them, and Aaron Mate looks so much like one of the Joe DeMorals involved. And one of the Joe DeMorals brought up, and former director of the FBI brought them up with and their co-defendants, their family members. They've been sticking fake things in databases as collusions on and off campuses in all natures of crime scenes, including body dumping spots, years apart, totally different body dumping spots and reported murders that have ties. And the time use /S of the names next to those body dumping spots too, involved with all kinds of identity theft, fraud, slanders that Interbranch can't afford to have discerned because they have rules with that. With the equivalent of the value of their logic and of their nature, which has been stayed collusion /S specifically to screen a hyperforeign that is manifest at countries A through Z. The suits and ties count as an exception. So fix the fake WFSB conversations with me. There was an old Italian woman who came and made a deathly face to me inside one of the offices on the side of a hallway of New Britain Superior Court. And the person sitting next to her is increasingly involved with Wethersfield town offices and families that run the police phones. They put fake transcripts at the police station. They pretended I was at the police station, Wethersfield police station, when I was a kid. And now I was an adult too. Some Mendez police also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed with the DeMorals. And one of them looks just like that one who's also involved with a Mr. Abruzzi, and others who put fake things in databases. And he repeats them. I never had a conversation with him. In other words, I don't know if Joe DeMoro was in my class in 5th grade. I only saw him there one day. Mr. Abruzzi, that was in 1986. Mr. Abruzzi involved with names before and after that I was in that class. In other classes, their roles and their neighbors have roles with body dumping spots. And people pretending passions and emotions behind others' backs they don't even know. And then online. And then pretending they know them and getting away with it because their roles acting tied to the fake things they pretended in databases. So New Britain Superior Court has names forging and switching judges involved with the state judicial branch offices and names next to it, like Fianza and DeMoro has ties to people. And Eric Oliveri has sought me out to record, confess, demonstrate, confirm he has federal evidence of crimes with spots next to the state judicial branch offices and Elm Streets and Rocky Hill and Wethersfield, with people on my street involved with sexual and medical offenders and their roles of multiple police departments with them personally and professionally, foreign and domestic military. I don't care if they're intelligence. Get the interbranch on paper, one name in sequence. Judge Napolitano, do what's right, follow mandated law. So you guys are playing games of difference. You have this Aaron Mate speaking about racism. How long has the preaching method set up for racism to be blamed? And predicate acts and facts with differences. We're going to pay attention to what's actually being demonstrated, what's actually the cause of the problem. The suburbs were designed before America's founders were born. Inside the nature of debates are quality aspects in nature that shows you guys are using criminally foreign influence, tactical illusions, or all fact, cheap nature, quality aspects in nature like sequence shift, self-value. Otherwise, you guys are sensing for the breaching method. Follow mandated law when someone brings up child abuses acts. And collusion /S, like with the interbranch, faking stuff. And a whole bunch of, there's a Leahy family has all little girls in their family on Facebook involved with identity theft, fraud, slander. A Leahy family faked conversation with me, Judge Napolitano. Get them the heck on paper with the Bryn Superior Court and the Harper courts. They are personally and professionally judges and prosecutors with sexual and medical offenders of kids, adults, identity theft, fraud, slanders, and relative delusions. I'm going to delineate the delusions from the criminally foreign influence, factor, nature, quality aspects, and nature of the drug adult and delusions raw doctors associated with the judges A through Z, retired and standing. So get them on paper, one name and sequence, Judge Napolitano. I want a response for what I caught them doing with recorded. They're pretending other things are recorded, but faking things to hide what's actually recorded with the principal upskirt nature. I recorded them involved with way worse, and with the names next to the campuses involved with identity theft, fraud, slanders, and whiting forensics increasingly involved with it. We're going to address the worst in criminal forgiveness. They're going to want the forgiveness, but then they pretend other because they have to hide what's actually recorded. They're keeping the wrong outcome /s with everything that comes before the identities of the names of the people, the sciences, therefore of the law. So increasingly, the intercities and intra-cities, people with the name DeMoro and people tied to them have ties to, in time, collusions with other natures of organized crimes, with child abusers, leaders of kids years apart. Some Mendez police faked conversations with me at the Wethersfield police station. They have collusions with them too. And they're educators. I didn't know. These people are at my campus. I didn't even see around campuses. And people that there's one quick exception. They walk by, someone else tells you the name, and they pretend you're in a conversation with them. This breaching method keeps them criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions wrought that way, pretending they're patriotism natures anyway. There's a lot more involved. A whole bunch of mayors retired and people tied to them involved with overt criminal enterprises and private ones with names on Valleycrest Street and Wethersfield associated with Joe DeMoro and others involved with wire crimes, home break-ins in my area. And it has something to do with their roles with names on Church Street and Old Wethersfield and corners of streets, not just on Church Street. And along Route 175, people have been planting evidences with them. Justin Klavinskis and Eric Jensen, Mark Violet, and others sought me out to record, confess, demonstrate, confirm. All along Route 175, they're going to pretend other too. All along Route 175, they've been, in conjunctions to it and to that, they've been planting evidences. And with a whole bunch of people tied to Wethersfield police chiefs retired in their intimate family, their families and intimate ties. Mazzucato Bakery has roles with a Jessica Cintron, per my sources, but it's already recorded. It's actually recorded. And my sources are also confessions as strangers who went out there with way to make protracted confessions to me. A whole bunch of people that went out of their way to put fake ties, fake nature ties to me. Recorded tied to the same house involved further with the extended family members and themselves, with wire crimes, with the police, confessions over the phone too, but they won't have anything in writing since I was a kid because they've been pretending fake writing into databases since I was a kid, not just against me. You guys get me a response for what I caught them doing with the principal child abuser. They had to cover up things. They have people with the name O'Neill who have their kids too. I never met them in my life. They have rules of whiting forensics with wire crime acts and methods. And with Saudi attackers, as people involved with Scalora too, interstates and internationally. See, Connecticut campuses, Trinity College and Central Connecticut State University has syntax with Russians and people from Ukraine, people from other different countries in the news, and inter-services, inter-military roles, criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions raw, and fake motivations for it, narratives and natures need the breaching method needs, because it's recorded. Nature shows us this. But I've been asking Judge Napolitano for a long time to get them on paper. They're using wire mail crime methods, falsified police reports, evidences, rackets. That's what the value of the state judicial branch offices and the corrections offices. The prisons, Sandy Hook prisons, have all kinds of organized crimes, including with the syntax of victims advocates and Sandy Hook victims who have collusion /s with that syntax with people that made confessions before it, with relative World Trade Center predicate acts and things. Know how these mass shootings and school shootings didn't get concentrated and become a phenomenon like that until after the World Trade Center attack. A bunch of people at the World Trade Center, victims of it and their family members, have roles of body dumping spots and murders and child abuse as leaders of kids, timed identity theft, fraud, slander, pertaining to the investigation. Their roles intercities and intra-cities, and their roles with names next to the networks, intercities. Connecticut networks have all kinds of predicate acts, organized crime acts, and methods. They're keeping the wrong outcome /S in every nature of case. Get them the heck on paper into branch. Please, Judge Napolitano, follow mandated law.